It's the Texas weather discussion video for Thursday, the 11th of July. I'm Donovan Neal. Of course, North Texas stays dry and hot and humid for the foreseeable future, but all eyes are on a tropical system in the Gulf, what could be Tropical Storm Barry later today. So here's the upper air map across the continental United States. You can see our upper high is basically parked over just to the west of us, but we're experiencing some of the effects from that of main mid-latitude westerlies up to the north around this time of the year. Pretty typical. Temperatures already in the mid 70s. Will be slightly cooler than yesterday with highs only in the mid 90s, but the heat indices will still be in the upper 90s to some triple digits. Or across the watch warning map, not much going on in Texas. Still have a heat advisory to the east, out in East Texas and some of the surrounding states, but also we have flash flood watches in effect for parts of the Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida coast in advance of the tropical system. We also have some hurricane watches and a tropical storm watch in effect for parts of the Louisiana and parts of the Mississippi, Alabama coast. Again, foreseeing the potential impacts from the tropical system. So here are the convective outlooks later today. We have a standard slight risk in effect for parts of North Dakota and parts of Minnesota. Also severe weather risk for areas to the northeast of us. And we have that marginal risk near the Texas and parts of south central Louisiana in advance of that tropical system. Day 2 tomorrow, we have that standard slight risk of severe storms actually for parts of the Louisiana and Mississippi coast, where they could actually see some brief isolated tornadoes or some water spouts in the feeder bands of the tropical system. And this is day 3 on Sunday. We have a marginal risk on Saturday. We have that marginal risk of severe storms again for parts of south central Mississippi and parts of Alabama and Louisiana, where they could see some isolated tornadoes as a direct result of this system. Now here is the circulation here. You can see that it's really starting to get its act together. Now it's in warm water, and of course this will become Tropical Storm Barry within later today, this afternoon or evening. But the technical name right now is potential tropical cyclone 2. It's moving to the west now, and it is expected to take a north turn towards the Louisiana coast and expect to impact somewhere between Lake Charles and New Orleans. And of course, that's why the whole Louisiana coast is under hurricane watch as of now, because it is expected to become a minimal hurricane at the time of landfall, at least a Category 1 by early Saturday morning. But it's expected to become a tropical storm at least by today at least, and then as it continues to the north, the remnant circulation is expected to be somewhere just at the south of Little Rock, Arkansas. By early Monday morning, and dissipating in northeastern Arkansas. It looks like Texas stays mostly dry from this thing. But here's the earliest reasonable arrival time of tropical storm force winds here. You can see if we were to get any tropical storm force winds of Texas, at least, it would be during the day on Friday. Again, the more east you are, the more likely you are to receive tropical storm force winds, and for parts of northeast Texas, expected during the overnight hours on Friday to the early morning hours on Saturday as well. Again, the more east of this thing you are, the more likely you are to see these type of winds. But here's the day 1 to 7 rainfall coming off the WPC. You can see most of the rainfall basically is centralized in Louisiana, but you can see some parts of rain actually hit Shreveport, Texas as well, where they could see around anywhere from around 2 to 4 inches from this thing. That's the darker green, and of course the lighter green for places like Tyler, even maybe Nacogdoches, or even parts of Houston as well. They could see around 1 to 2 inches of rain from this thing, and of course that would be very minimal compared to what we might see in Louisiana and parts of Mississippi, where they could see anywhere from around 15 to 20 inches of rain, maybe even greater for areas central near New Orleans. So of course, heavy rain is a big threat. Of course, wind is also the threat, and also potential for some isolated tornadoes or some brief water spouts inland. And of course, dangerous sea and ripped currents are a real possibility along the coast, Gulf Mexican coast. So we're gonna have to definitely address the potential for that. So let's go through the so if we can, let's go through the timing here. This is the O6Z run of the GFS file. This is the OZ run of the GFS file this afternoon at 1 o'clock local time. You can see we have that main 597 heat ridge to the west, and of course now the GFS actually has this a little more east than what the NHC has it. And now of course it's getting its act together at this point. But in North Texas, we stay dry with highs in the mid 90s. Same deal on Friday, and of course it's shifting more to the west near New Orleans as expected, and of course it's impacting areas I'd say just to the west of New Orleans at this point as a minimal hurricane. But you can see the main circulation, the main rain shield from this thing is basically just to the south and east, 100 miles to the south and east of this of the main center circulation, and maybe areas just to the north of it will also experience some impacts as well. And now this is Sunday. It's basically moves inland. It jogs to the east near south central Mississippi, which defies the NHC track, but we'll continue to watch trends here. And if this were to verify, that means Mississippi and Alabama would get some of the heaviest rainfall as well. But so definitely those areas need to stay aware of this thing. Now this is Monday. You can see it's in Mississippi. Northern Mississippi has a remnant low at this point, and of course heavy rainfalls will continue to decrease at that point. But you could still see some brief isolated tornadoes at this point. But much of the North Texas, still focus on North Texas for now. North Texas stays dry right now. Highs still in the mid to upper 90s. This is Tuesday. This is Wednesday, so early next week shapes to be really great for the Gulf. Maybe a few isolated storms at times, but once this thing passes, that's really about it. Let's go out a week from today, Thursday, the 11th of July. You can see we have that. And of course we stay dry. As a result, highs still in the upper 90s. Let's go out 10 days. This is Saturday the 20th. You can see we have that heat ridge in the north, and down here we still stay dry. But you can see from the numbers, the QPS from the European ensemble, it's still forecasting about half an inch of rain through late July. It's around this time of the year where we don't receive that much rainfall, so not surprised from this outlook at all. But you can see from the numbers for the next 15 days, still mostly in the upper 90s, still hinting towards the triple digit mark by around Saturday, by around the 20th of July, 20th to 22nd of July, but lows mostly in the low 80s at this point. That's it for the Texas weather discussion video for today on Mornings and Blog. Next video here will be posted at around 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. If you can't catch local TV stations on the air this afternoon at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and Godspeed.